Hi, everyone. You're watching episode 68 of Yield TV. Hey, welcome back. It is February 3rd, 2021, and we are going to talk about really one of the more powerful DeFi applications today that is also, ironically, one of the simplest. We're going to talk about ETH staking. And so we're really fortunate. We've got Vasily, who is the co-founder of Lido, which is Ethereum Liquid Staking. It's very easy to use. I've used it myself to participate in ETH staking without having to lock up my Ether for God knows how many years. Thank you to all those who have locked it up for many years, but this is going to be a much easier way to go about it. So anyways, Vasily, welcome to Yield TV. How are you doing?
Hey, folks. Yeah, I'm doing fine. I think we as Lido are also doing fine right now. So I'm
you guys are doing really well. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing really, really well, man. Congrats again on, I think I've said it like 5 times since we were in the green room there. Yeah, it's really remarkable to think about how far you've come in such a short amount of time. But I want to talk with you 2 more today about all the hard work that went into this that people tend to forget about. They just see the end result. So Vasily, could you tell us a bit more about, like, how did you get into DeFi? You know, what's your background in crypto, and what led you to co-found Lido?
Okay. I must say I'm not the OG like some other people. I'm in the space since 2017.
Oh yeah,
At
awesome.
least, yeah. So I've dabbled a bit in a failed supply chain blockchain startup. Then I worked on Cosmos-based NFT marketplace that didn't take off at the time because we really banked it on IBC being operational much sooner than it was. So yeah, it didn't work out. And then I came working to P2P Validator. It's one of the largest staking provider, and
Wow.
yeah, I think we've got about a bit more than 1 billion under stake right now. And at the same time, I was pretty active. I think that the community I was pretty most active was the late Crypto Code Reviews Telegram group that was led by Andre Cronje. At the time, he wasn't like a live DeFi developer. We were like checking out the white papers and GitHubs of projects and basically badmouthing them.
Wow.
So yeah, that was pretty cool place. I miss that vibe. So I followed for Cronje and for a long time when he started, when he left Phantom and started to double in DeFi with Yon in the beginning of 2020, I think, in the end of 2019.
Wow. Yeah, it's such a short amount of time. Like, we all forget that a year ago that Yearn had not launched, which was a big milestone. You know, that was, I think it was back in February of last year, or maybe it was before, because Curve.
It was December. This Curve launched in December, and Yon launched a bit later after that, or a bit earlier, I think. The first version of Yon was like just auto distributor of funds into our compound, whatever works.
Right.
Yeah, so the Curve pool came in I think in a bit later. In January,
like February, March. I remember. Yeah. I remember learning about the Y Curve pool, and it was so powerful, but like so hard to understand at first because there was so much going on under the hood. A lot, you know, we were all used to talking about liquidity provisions with like a Uniswap, but suddenly it's like, wait a sec. So I earned I earn trading fees, but I also earn lending interest. Like this is, this is a really sophisticated tool. And I think we all, a year later, there's a lot of people that sort of take this for granted. So yeah, really. Anyways, going back to that. So you're collaborating, contributing to other projects. When did Lido kick off? When did you start to work on Lido?
I came in P2P in February. So I became CTO of P2P in February, and in my first month of job, I made an overview of what basically are my goals, our goals for the next year. So it was like exactly a year ago, and the biggest thing to happen for staking providers in 2020 was obviously Ethereum launching, and it's not a very friendly chain for staking providers. There is no native delegation mechanism, and the fact that you need to chunk your Ether in 32 Ether spots, and then you need to go through pretty complicated deposit sequence, and then your funds are locked and your rewards are locked. Makes it really complicated for anyone who is not working with basic institutions.
Right. This context is really important for anyone who's new to Lido. You have to appreciate that there is a lot of effort and expertise and time that goes into staking for ETH2, and thankfully the community rallied around this idea, and we hit this minimum deposit back in November so that we could launch the Beacon chain, which is phase 0 of a multi-phase process for us to get to proof of stake. So at end of day, like what you guys really innovated on here is like, how can we make it easier for someone to participate with any amount of Ether? How can we make it easier for them to not have to lock it up just in case, like, you need that Ether over the next few years for something, versus the others who are, I think, making the ultimate sacrifice and running validators. So it's not a competition. It's kind of like, this is just another gateway into participating in ETH2 staking.
Yeah.
When did
I have a lot of respect for people who stake the way it's intended. Yeah. It was not for everyone, of course, and it's pretty complicated technically, and the penalties for being offline are like small but not non-existent, and you need like monitoring setup, hardware setup. You need to be aware of the denial of service attacks, which are pretty easy to do against an uncomplicated staker. So it's not for everyone. I understand, and the amount of Ether you need to lock up is also at current prices. It's not pocket money for almost any people, for almost any person out there. And and from that complexity, and what immediately follows from that complexity and obstacles to staking is the stake centralization. The more complicated staking is, the less distributed it is. So people prefer to go on exchange and stake on exchanges. Even now, in I think the Kraken has 13% of staked Ether in existence.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so the Ethereum had a goal of making staking available to just anyone, but I think that anyone has to have pretty significant technical chops.
That's right.
Yeah, so I think that without liquid staking protocols that are in some way decentralized, the staking will concentrate on exchanges on Binance, on Kraken, on Coinbase, and institutional staking pools, maybe like in custodies. So what I see what Lido and Rocket Pool and protocols like that do as I see that as a good thing, but even people who see that as a bad thing compared to original vision of Ethereum available to any staker, I think they need to understand that it's less evil if they think it's evil, because the alternative are exchanges. There is no way against it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the key takeaway here is there's a lot of big money that's actually in ETH2 staking, and while there's a lot more reason and logic behind like why we have, for example, increments of 32 ETH for staking, but really like what's the reason for being with DeFi is to make participating in finance more accessible, allowing folks to participate with any amount of money. Whether you lend on Aave with $1 million or $1, you should be earning. You're earning the same, rate there. And so similarly here, there's the opportunity now with you all and a few other players in the space to actually stake Ether. So Vasily, do you think, would this be a good time for us to start screen sharing? And like, there's a few things I want to walk through. Like first, I do want to make sure everyone sees the Lido.fi website. That's important to just understand where that is. But, also I want to talk through like just using a DEX aggregator to get stacked or staked Ether through you all. And then what does it mean when you participate in Curve in the Steph LP or the Y-Earn Steph Y Vault? So anyways, would you want to share your screen or otherwise I can share mine?
I can share my screen. It's not a problem.
Awesome. And then what you do, just hit share screen in the bottom center, and I'll show it when you are ready.
Yeah, it will take a bit. I need to to allow screen share to the browser.
Perfect.
Oh yeah. I'll have to reconnect. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Go right ahead. Take your time. I'll actually, while you're doing that, I'm going to show the Lido website. So, all right, folks, as we're waiting for Vasily to come back, check this out. So you can go to Lido.fi. This is their homepage. This is where you can get involved in the community by going into their Discord. I think they also have a Telegram group, but you can learn all about like the underlying mechanism here. The numbers that are really exciting to look at are there's 125,000 or so Ether that's been staked with Lido. So that's almost $200 million based on the price of Ether right now. The current returns from staking are 3.2%. That's in Ether. So if I put up 100 Ether annually, I would be earning about 3.2 Ether. And then there's 2,602 addresses that are participating right now. Oh, there we go. Sorry, here we go, Vasily. There you go. I just showed them the homepage and was just calling out some of the numbers. Like there's 125,000 Ether that's been staked, or $200 million through Lido. 3.2%. That's the current APR, estimated APR. And then 2,602 stakers are participating in Lido.
1 second, I'll set up the
Take your time.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else? After this, though, what we'll show you is, so like, I really just want to walk you through with Vasily what this looks like. But if one were to want to stake Ether, you actually would be better off just go to Zapper.fi/exchange. That's our DEX aggregator. Go to Paraswap, go to OneInch, go to Matcha, any DEX aggregator, and all you have to do is swap for its STETH, STETH. That's the symbol for staked Ether with Lido. And that's it. Once you do that, you're essentially staking Ether. You're holding an asset that represents the Ether that is staked with validators via the Lido DAO. Okay, here we go. Well, Vasily, do you want me to share your screen now?
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, cool. There we go. So we showed them the home page, and now this is what happens when you open up. If you're on the home page and you click Stake Now, this is the screen that you'll see next. So yeah, walk me through. How does this work?
It works as basically as simple as possible. You can connect your wallet. We can use a MetaMask, and MetaMask can be used with hardware keys. And for mobile users, we'll have Wallet Connect, Trust, and in-token wallets. We're also integrated in IMToken and Argent as a staking provider, basically. So after that, you enter the amount of Ether you want to stake. You push stake, and if you have enough Ether, I don't. I'm using a fresh account.
Yeah.
So yeah, you receive staked Ether in return. So if you stake 100 Ether, you receive 100 staked Ether. That will every day rebased to the amount corresponding to the staked Ether you have on the Beacon chain. So in the usual days, it's basically about 0.003% reward right now. The average staking rate for us right now is 3.2%. The reason for that, compared to the usual Ether staking rate of about 10% right now, is for the reason that there is a lot of Ether in queue, and we socialize all returns. So we've had a surge of staking recently, and the reward is distributed between people who are in queue and the validators that are in queue and the validators that are already online, and we are distributed evenly. There is an ongoing governance discussion about that. It's not voted on yet, but the general consensus is that for the time being, until the rewards are less different from the Ethereum staking rewards, the DAO can top up them with the Lido token. So basically, you'll get 3.2% in staking rewards and about 6-7% in Lido tokens. That's what we're working on right now. Yeah.
I forgot. So, and when you say the Lido token, that's LDO. That's the governance token for the Lido.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So, if I were staking ETH with you, let's say earlier, and someone comes in like a month later, and let's pretend that everyone stays in the pool. So the pool is only growing larger and larger. I would have been earning more before, right? Like my return becomes more diluted over time, or I guess what I'm wondering is that like, I mean, all of this at the end of the day is based on how much time I'm in the pool, what percentage of the pool I ended up owning.
Every staked ETH token in existence earns the same reward. That's so if you staked earlier and have 100 staked either on the day, well, you staked on the day 0, and on the day 30 you have 100 staked ETH. You'll be earning as much reward as a person who just got the staked ETH. The reason for that is that we need staked ETH to be super fungible.
I got you.
Yeah, so they have to be identical because otherwise we won't have a liquidity pool for them. and liquidity pool is absolutely needed to basically have staked Ether liquid. It's pretty easy to make an non-fungible staked Ether, so that the different validators have different different risk parameters, different validation quality, etc. And yeah, so the staking rewards are really non-fungible between different validators, between different chunks of 32 Ether. And we designed the protocol to make them fungible forcefully.
Got it. And so the one factor here that is driving my return staking Ether with Lido is just how long I stay in the pool. Then at the end of the day, whether I put in 1 ETH or 1,000 ETH, I'm going to earn the same return ultimately. In other words, it is. I want to call out the fact that it's a bit different than, like if you talk about a yield farming program, people compete for better or worse to get into it as quickly as possible, and they're accruing those rewards more rapidly by being in there early. But in this case, it's just all about however long you're in there. So I guess what I'm trying to say is people shouldn't be discouraged if they haven't participated in this yet. Like there's a long road.
The staking Ether and Lido in general is a long game. So unlike the farming food tokens or unbacked stable coins, algorithmic stable coins, it's not a thing that happens during 1 month and then whatever happens. There is not much difference between staking right now or in 1 month in terms of rewards.
Right.
If there are a lot of people that take notice of how Lido is doing or other staking liquid staking protocols, and will make their choice later when they show it's stable and dependable and whatnot. So that's absolutely the right position to take if you want to be careful.
This is an example, though, of I think some of the simpler ways to participate in DeFi are the most powerful, and everyone gets caught up in these stories of so-and-so got into some farm and farmed 1,000,000% for 24 hours, stuff like that. That also ends in many cases with, not so happy endings where there's a bug or maybe there was a malicious actor there. So like I'm always trying to emphasize that, I mean, if, this isn't financial advice, but if you look at my own personal experience in DeFi, I try to focus on opportunities like this where I'm staking because I'm holding an asset Ether that I already intend to be long on. But the fact that I can earn something on top of it and compound those returns, that and some patience can really pay off over time. Vasily, would you like if I could share my screen and show, like, I'm just going to show Zapper Exchange, but you can use any DEX aggregator to get a hold of Steph. And then while I do that, I'm curious can you start to talk to me about what are some of the things that one should consider before using Lido? Like there are competitors to Lido. We need as many people staking Ether as possible, so this is a good thing. But like maybe any of the major differences to call out, things that people should be considering, whether or not they would use Lido.
Okay, I'll walk you through the risks and differences.
Perfect. That'd be great.
Actually the elephant in the room is that competitors are not only liquid staking providers but also exchanges that provide like Binance provide a tradable ETH 2.0 token. I'll walk you through it. So we have basically the regular staking, the liquid staking exchanges, and a bunch of liquid staking protocols. the regular staking is a commendable thing to do. You're as non-custodial as possible when you do it. You can use a staking provider for that, but it's not easy for small time stakers because it's like paperwork and whatnot. It makes sense if you're a whale, not if you're except maybe staking with stake fish. So it's a commendable thing to do, but you lose the liquidity, and you don't know when it will return to you. The option to stake on exchanges is basically obvious. You can trade and stake at the same time. It's fully custodial, so you don't hold the keys to your wallet, and it's making staking centralized because trading is naturally centralized. It goes where the most liquidity is. So people who stake on exchange to trade, they will basically converge to 1, 2, or 3 different exchanges, and that's it. It's a thing that leads to staking centralization. The upside is, of course, good liquidity, and exchanges are almost always have the best terms for staking because they earn a lot of commissions. They don't need to. The staking rewards are not the only source of income. They have a vertical integrated business for that. So staking for them is actually cheaper than for staking providers that only stake with you. So they often have better terms because it's worth it for them. It's staking is a way for customer acquisition and not the business itself.
I got you. Yep.
Yeah. So and for liquid staking protocols, Lido is the leading one right now. So we have a lot of Ether in staked, about 120. You got a very liquid pool on Curve. It's I think about 80,000 of Ether to stake Tether on both sides. It keeps the pack very good. We've had a number of people of big whales to basically say I think that it's not going to pick to keep back and withdraw as large sums as 20,000 either in one go. We've had one day like this. Yeah,
Wow.
so a person exited. They staked 20,000 either and then exited 20,000 either.
So the point that you're making here is the fact that the Lido pool has become so liquid. It just means that when you participate, if you hold Steth, it makes it very easy for one to exit. As it should be. That was the goal all along. But the liquidity having grown to, I think it was like 200 million, is it's very reassuring because there's all sorts of mechanisms like this in DeFi where the promise is that it is frictionless, that you can pull money whenever you want. But the truth is, there's always a catch. Like even if you lend to Compound, although it's very unlikely, it is possible that entire pool could be borrowed and that you could be stuck waiting for people to return money. So this is something that, again, because you all grew so quickly, because there is so much liquidity, it's a benefit. And that means, like you said, that someone with 20,000 Ether can easily pull out. That is a really, really good point I haven't really thought of much lately. This is just very quickly, I want to show everyone at the simplest level, if you want to participate in holding Ether that is staked with Lido. And again, it's just what we just talked about. You can withdraw whenever you want, especially with how liquid it is at this point, not barring any sort of unforeseen circumstances in the future. You could go to like a Zapper.fi/exchange, go to any other DEX aggregator, type in ETH, and then trade or swap for staked Ether. So you can see in this case, if I were to do like 5 Ether, I would get just a little bit under that. This is the proper rate here. I think I had a little bit of a lag there. The other place that you can go, like one of the best liquidity sources that we were just talking about, is Curve.fi. And so if you go to Curve,
Curve is actually right now staked Ether on Curve is a little bit overpack. So right now you will indeed get less Ether for staked Ether than less staked Ether for Ether on Curve, but it should be something like 4.999 for 5 Ether.
Let me see here. I'll pull it up here, yeah, just so people can see this. So normally a DEX aggregator should pull from Curve as well. So you don't have to go to Curve, but let's just take a look at it just for a moment. So if I go here, I'm starting with Ether. You can see here from to, for anyone who's like newer to this. And if I type in 100, I'm getting 99.9. So that looks about right? I mean, normally this should be a little bit more valuable in light of the returns that that you would earn over a year. So this looks about right here. If we pump it up to like 1,000, yeah, a little bit less, a little bit. Man, it's crazy, the liquidity in here. Curve is a monster. Wow, that's really, really impressive. So we've got that, but then the other side of the equation here is one could actually, let me just make sure I've got the right, one could participate as a liquidity provider here. So what we're showing is, and I can show you on Zapper as well if you prefer our interface, but you just go to the deposit tab and you can deposit Steph or Ether. And then you end up, in this case, with a position that is about 50.06% Ether, 49.94% Steph at the moment. That could change as soon as folks do more trades. But this is a way that one can deposit, and then they're earning on top of it, they're earning the CRV Curve DAO token as a reward, because you can stake it. So if I go back here a moment to Zapper, just want to call this out how easy this is. So if I go to the pool tab, just you can see I'm actually already in it myself here. So if I look up Steph, here is the Curve pool. I can click add liquidity, put in Ether, or where's my Steph go here? Oh, that's interesting. So you can put in, anyways, you can put in Ether or any one of these other tokens, and I'll check this out afterwards. It should also say Steph. And then if I put that in, I'm now a liquidity provider. I'm earning those market making fees. I'm holding staked Ether, so I'm earning ETH2 staking fees. I am earning the Curve CRV token. And the last step of this is I can go to the farm tab and I could look up show available to stake. And this shows that I would be earning the Lido token as well. So I think that's like 4 or 5 different ways to earn, all by just participating as an LP in the Curve Steph pool. Did I miss anything there, Vasily? Anything else you'd call out?
I was promised dead jokes from you, so
yeah,
I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah, you're right. We do have to get to the dad jokes. That was a part of the show today. Let's see here. So, okay, so I think we covered just about everything there. We got...
You had a couple of questions for me, I think you said in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. That's right. We have a few questions. These were from users. So first question was, it's from Ripe Banana. This was on Twitter. How does ETH inflation from staking accrue to the LP position on Curve that I just showed?
Okay, that's a simple question, but it has a pretty complicated answer. Imagine there are no trades on the pool. That's for the beginning. It will be simpler to explain. In that case, when you hold an LP token of Curve, your staked ETH side slowly increases every day in balance. So basically the value of your LP share will increase every day a little bit to the currently at 3.2% APR, and later at a more reasonable one. Now, if there are trades, each increase will result in a small imbalance in the pool. So the one side increases, and people who think that the fair price of staked Ether to Ether is 1-to-1 can theoretically arbitrate that. There are ways around it with the special kinds of automatic mechanisms like ETH protocol one makes, but it's not implemented yet. That would be the case if the increases were fairly large, or transaction fees were zero, or there was no trading fee on Curve. As it is now, it's not economical for arbitrageurs to trade this difference. This difference is very small, and every day it happens daily. It's very small, and it's not worth to the transaction to arbitrate that. So no one does that basically. More than that, even if we have a really tight pool with the back is kept very well, there is still some volatility, and this volatility is bigger than daily rewards, because daily rewards are very small. It comes to like 3% in a year right now. So daily rewards are like 0.001 or something like that percent, or even less than that. So right now, the trading fees on Curve are more than potential arbitrage, so it doesn't happen.
Got it.
So it's basically the same situation I described earlier. Your value of your LP share increases a bit every day.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the complexity under the hood is why I think just holding Steph is fantastic. Like, that's a great, easy way for one to participate. But the stacked incentives with the Curve LP are, I mean, it's a classic example of what is yield farming. It's multiple protocols working together. Everyone's benefiting, and the one that is helping to bootstrap that liquidity is earning multiple returns in the form of staked Ether, returns through Lido, the Lido token, the Curve DAO token, market making fees. Yeah, that's everything. I think I just named 4. I keep like missing, but that's a good thing. If you're miscounting how many rewards, that's a really, really good thing. There was one other question here, Vasily. It was, what other DeFi projects are on the horizon for Steph staked Ether? Also, with the Lido rewards, also, will the Lido rewards continue on Curve until phase 2? If you can explain all that.
Okay, I'll start with the second question. It's got a more complete answer. So liquidity is the central point of staked ETH of Lido. There is no sense to Lido without liquidity, and the liquidity pool is needed for the concept to exist. There is no what yet to continue it. We've got some time for that. It's not urgent to have this vote, so it's not up yet. But the basic idea of staked Ether is that it has to be liquid, and for it to be liquid until the withdrawals are are enabled on the Beacon chain is to have incentives on the pool. There is no way around that. So I don't really see a chance that for these rewards to stop. They are very important.
Makes sense. I know it's about, I think it's about having the longevity of these different returns programs or liquidity mining programs, and it matters here because of what we talked about earlier. ETH2, ETH2 staking is a very long-term program. It's one that's here to stay, and so it's good that the Lido sort of program would want to mirror that. Did you want to answer the other part of that question as well?
Yeah, about integrations.
Yes.
That's our focus right now. That's the most important thing we can do for Lido as a dev team. We are working on Maker and Aave integrations right now. There are respective votes proposals in the community, and the Make Greenlight vote ends pretty soon, I think, in our favor. It doesn't mean we get integration immediately, because both are first selective and then not very quick on decisions. And Maker's also team is pretty much overworked right now. They have a huge backlog. So it will take time, but we do all the legwork necessary for technical side of integration and risk assessment side. So I think we'll get there as soon as it's possible at all.
It's really, I think on something where you're going to see other teams coming to you at Lido is like I was reading about Nexus Mutual has a very large treasury since they offer insurance. It's all Ether, so they're looking for lower risk ways to put that Ether to work. And so this is a great example of that. This is ideal for treasuries that are mostly managed in Ether. Yam, I think, is another example. I could imagine Yam benefiting from this. There's a lot of I'm like, there's so many different treasuries right now that have very large pools of ETH that, could more easily gain access to ETH2 returns by using Lido.
Yeah. So Nexus is considering this as one of the variants. They have I think a very early proposal on the forum. Same for Aave. They have a proposal to have a collective governance. Yeah. So, and stake is mentioned there. It won't be fast. They're working slowly, and they're some of the most risk averse, I think, staking client there can be. Good thing that we just had yesterday a proposal from Unslashed protocol.
That's a great one to use it as well, because they have a growing pool of Ether. Yeah, there's a lot. Even, I guess, so while we're on the topic of insurance, then I'm trying to remember, I think it's DAI that you have to deposit through Cover, so maybe they're less likely, but yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's such a no-brainer to me, without like thinking about all the other like risk parameters, like put that ETH to work, let it stake it.
Yeah.
It fits the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, what I wanted to say that Unslashed has a proposal to provide cover to Lido. It's not about staking treasury; it's about having cover for
providing cover.
Yeah,
yeah, that's another one. Shoot, yeah. I wonder if have you had any talks with Nexus or Cover yet about getting protection?
Nexus, we had. Nexus is in process of rolling out the product for that. They don't have it yet, and Unslashed is there already. So if we want the cover now, we don't, strictly speaking, have a choice. When we have it's a very different situation.
And so, just to clarify, you said Unslashed does have cover right now. So that is if one is staking Ether in Lido, they can already access smart contract cover or insurance protection against a bug through Unslashed.
Protection against the slashing risk.
Oh, very cool. Oh, it's that specific. Man, that's awesome.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and and the idea is not for users to buy it, but for the Lido DAO itself.
Yeah.
So that all staked Ether is covered.
Oh, I love that. Like we forget about those relationships because there's so much of a peer-to-peer relationship that we focus on in DeFi. But this kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Iron Bank, which is really just getting started and being able to have protocol-to-protocol borrowing because there's like better, I want to say like better trusted relationships there. Dude, that's so cool, man. Wow, I learned something every day. That is really cool. So protection against slashing, which is really, really important. What is the rate on that? I'm curious, like, or do you guys have a rate that's public yet?
Yeah, it's right there on the governance forum. We have a proposal that covers 5% of slashing risk. So if slashing goes over 5% of all staked Ether, it's the rest is not covered. That's pretty much enough because the realistic risk of slashing is one node operator screwing up a little, basically.
Yeah. Oh, that is so wow.
That
so
costs about 1 to 1.5% per year of a covered amount. And that means that we can buy cover for half a year for all Ether staked in Lido for about, I think, 40 or 50 Ether.
Wow. And I mean, this is interesting because if anything, it like demonstrates that next step of more risk being covered in DeFi. Like someone today was asking me about, what happens when credit delegation rolls out with Aave? Is there any protection against someone defaulting? And I'm like, no, there isn't right now. This is all new, and we'll have that credit risk covered eventually. But this is really interesting. Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. Happy to hear. That's great. Good job, Unslashed Finance, on that. So definitely got to see Cover and Nexus and others follow on that. So let's see here. Was there anything else there in terms of the risks that you wanted to cover, Vasily? I think that was helpful just to understand the context of protection against slashing.
Well, there is a usual amount of risk. There is a usual source of risk for Lido. The smart contract risk. The slashing risk. There is counterparty risk, I think, too. The reason is that Lido contracts are fully upgradable. We need it because beacon chain is changing under Lido. So immutable contracts won't work. Basically, we don't know what state beacon chain will be in a year, and we can't be immutable. There is no opt-out right now, and there is a part of Ethereum staking that is called withdrawal credentials. Withdrawal credentials are basically the owners of the funds, not owner, the people who can move funds when they are unstaked. Currently, there is no trustless mechanism for that, and we made do with a threshold signature, which is basically a multi-sig, with some of the most dependable people in the DeFi ecosystem. So while we were reasonably good on that front, the risk still exists. So you can't say it's. Yeah. And there is one more that is more esoteric, but it is possible that Ethereum 2.0 will never merge with Ethereum 1.0.
Yeah.
So I don't see this as a realistic outcome because
Yeah.
I don't see an opposition to that. Basically, when no one in the ecosystem doesn't want that, there is no one who doesn't want that to happen.
Right.
It's a contentious thing, and that means that well, nature will find a way.
Yeah. That's I know, but very. I think it's very ethical and right to talk about all of these risks. One more follow up to that. Any other anything else that you can talk about that has been done to abstract away centralized risk? You know, what other centralized controls are there? And then even if there's any that you call out, would love to know like what's already in the works to abstract away that, or maybe like what are some of the talks that are happening in the DAO right now?
In terms of risk, there is basically nothing we can do better until the changes to the base protocol.
Gotcha.
There is a chance, that in the more or less near future there will be an option to have withdrawal credentials as a smart contract on Ethereum 1.0. That will remove the counterparty risk for withdrawal credentials, at least for the new funds on newly staked, and hopefully there will be key rotation to remove all the need for threshold signature altogether. And the protocol can ossify only when beacon chain ossifies, and that won't happen until phase 2. So that's how it is. I know that Rocket Pool, the project that is also doing liquid staking, and that I respect a lot. They are waiting for withdrawal credentials in as smart contracts. So they don't launch until it's done. We decided to make do with the threshold signature.
Got it. And so the key takeaway here is while we're in this transition, or whatever, we're in a phase where we're waiting for more development on the beacon chain. What is I guess, just so that people are aware, what is the absolute worst thing you could think of that could happen? Again, it's all about just, I think you've been very upfront about all the risks, but what is like, let's pretend someone on your team has a gun held to their head. Like, is there any risk there? Like, could someone hold them hostage and, say, hey, move this ether from this to that? Or does it require multiple people on your team to sign for someone to move funds?
If you're talking about things like that are realistic, so that
exactly, I'm going like off rails here with this. Like it's probabilistically very, 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 very unlikely, but like these are things that you're trying to solve for, like with all the different ideas you discussed. But just like, is that still a risk, or like do multiple people have to sign off in order for funds to be moved, or is that what you were referring to as next? You were talking about a multi-sig that would be put in place.
Everything that is a security key point is either a multi-sig or threshold signature, which works almost exactly like a multi-sig with minor differences, or it's a coin voting DAO. So there is no single person that can be used to do that, to do anything untoward. The worst thing that a single person can do is basically make the slashing for one of the node operators. So that's the worst thing that a single person can do. The realistic risks, I think that that's about it. The smart contract is always there, so that's probably.
No. I appreciate you are very helpful and transparent, kind of calling everything out there. Vasily, anything else that you think people should know about Lido, about ETH2 staking, anything else that you're hoping folks take away from the conversation?
I think I'm still waiting for that joke.
You know what? I was thinking about this during the interview, and I was like, I don't have a good one, but I definitely find the Lido, it's perfect for the setup of a dad joke, you know, like how do I run an ETH2 staking validator? Lido, no, you know, like that's pretty good. It's funny, as we were talking, I was like, I don't have any dad jokes I could think, and then I was like, oh, wait a sec, I don't know. That's a good one. Actually, another question came up here from folks in the chat. How does the reward for Curve show up when staking in stablecoin pools? So just to clarify for this person, actually, I can answer this one. Remember, we were talking about the Steph pool. So that's specific to staked Ether through Lido and Ether. And so you're only staking, you're only holding Ether and staked Ether, and then you're earning this Curve and Lido governance tokens as rewards. But the follow-up to that, which I thought made more sense here, do you get more of the stable coins during levels of value up? I think what this person was referring to was when you are in the Curve pool as an LP, does the Lido and the Curve governance token, do you happen to know, can you claim those on Curve? I know you can claim them on Zapper. So if you go to Zapper.fi/farm, and if you just stake it, we have a claim option there. So that'll make your life easier to claim the two tokens. But yeah, anyways, Vasily, do you know on the Curve front end, like, do you claim both tokens there?
Yeah. When you stake in Curve, when you claim rewards, you get both tokens there. It's a pretty cool thing that Curve did. You actually are staking in both reward pools at once.
Very cool. Yeah. And if anyone's looking for that, again, you can go to Zapper.fi/farm. You can claim it there. That's easy if you already use Zapper. But you can also go to DAO.curve.fi, and there's an option under gauges. If you look up the Steph pool, so like in order to earn that Curve token and Lido token after you become an LP, just go to Zapper.fi/farm, click the stake option. Otherwise, you go to the DAO.curve.fi and click under the gauges, and that's how it works there. So, all right, so we covered that. And there was a question about the insurance we talked about with Unslashed Finance. Will that also cover ETH in the Curve pool or Yearn vaults? Good question. I know on the Nexus side, right now there is not stacked risk, but that's coming. So if you were to, let's say you were in the Y vault for Steph, you would buy cover for Yearn, and that's how that works. If you were in the Curve pool, you would buy it for Curve.
I can answer that.
Yeah.
The cover I was talking about, it covers only slashing risks.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. There are two ways to apply it. Basically, you can buy it for your own stat, whatever it is, wherever it is, or the DAO can buy it to cover all the staked ETH in existence.
Which is, I think, much more important. That's a step you all have taken that we as users wouldn't be able to do unless we speak up in the Lido DAO.
So if and when it's implemented, so when the cover is bought, it will cover all the staked ETH in any pool or Yearn, but only from slashing, not from smart contract risk, not from like price risk or something like that. Only slashing.
Awesome. Yeah. Really cool development there. Well, Vasily, thanks so much for joining us. I want to remind everyone, you can check out Lido at lido.fi. That was one place where you can exchange Ether for their staked Ether. You can also just go on a DEX aggregator. There is the option we talked about with Curve, so you can become a Curve Steth LP and earn multiple tokens. You can also join the Y Vault for Steth, so that sort of automates some of the profit taking on those different tokens that are earned. Make sure you follow Lido Finance on Twitter. Follow Vasily here on Twitter as well. Dude, just thanks so much. This was great. I really learned a lot. Man, there's a lot going on there, and I think as simple as I've always thought of Lido being, I recognize there's just a lot of complexity. The liquidity thing we talked about, I'd never thought about. Just the fact that now a whale could be in there with 20,000 Ether and can easily withdraw that. Like, that's really powerful. And we're in the early days still. Like, this is a long-term project, this is a long-term project that should allow more and more people and institutions to participate. So, but yeah, anything else, Vasily, you'd like to say before we go?
No, I think we're good. It was a really great talk.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to do with myself, but I guess we can end it here. Hey, thanks so much. I'm going to literally just hit the outro video. So if you have any questions, we'll be in a green room in just a second. And everyone, a reminder, tomorrow we will be back at 9 a.m. Eastern to talk about Alpha Hamora V2 with Tasha from the Alpha Finance team. So anyways, thanks so much, and stay safe. Bye, everyone.
Bye.